Rev up your engines!
Panda Potato says, Scotty, got a question. My sister found a 95 Volvo 850 for $350. It just needs a rear bumper and a $200 for a head gasket. Is it worth the buy? The tags are just behind it. Runs strong and all. Okay, well, here's the thing. You said it needs a head gasket, but it's running strong. When head gaskets goes, they don't run strong. If it has an engine problem, you don't want to buy it because you never know what's wrong. Like I said earlier, you got to pull the head off the engine, which is a big job. And if there's other things broken, like a warped head or a broken valve, then it's going to cost a lot of money to fix. They were solid built cars back then, and they could last for sometimes 400,000 or 500,000 miles. Back in '95, Volvo made pretty solid cars. But if it's got an engine problem, I'd be real leery about buying it myself. Bumper, who cares? But I would have a mechanic look at that engine before I'd even spend any money. And even though it's only $350, you could be paying $350 away. Because if you're going to do the engine work yourself, and it's only $200 for the kit, and you want to do it, fine. But you might take it apart and then say, the engine's shot, the head's broken. It's not worth fixing that. Anna says, are Hyundais and Kias reliable cars? Well, they can be in the short run. They're not as reliable as Toyotas and Hondas, but I've got customers that buy them. They want to buy the cheapest car they can get their hand on, and they take care of them. And my tax accountant used to have a Kia, and she had it. It was 15 years old, and it was starting to break then, but she got, 100,000 miles out of it. She was happy. I got a customer who's a sales rep, and he's got a Kia with 250,000 miles on it. Now, he put it on in 2.5 years, so it's highway mileage, but they can be reliable over periods of time, 100,000 miles or less. They're generally pretty reliable, but they're not like a Toyota or Honda where they can go 400,000, 500,000, 600,000 miles. They just won't last that long. Minnesota's Kanata says, Scotty, love the show. My wife wants an all-wheel drive for winter driving. What do you recommend? Okay, you can't beat the Toyotas. They last the longest. They go forever. Now, if you want to get something that costs a little bit less, get a Subaru. Their all-wheel drives are good vehicles. They've made all-wheel drive vehicles for a really long time. If she can drive a standard, get a standard. If not, you get an automatic. They won't last as long. But if she has to drive an automatic and has to get all-wheel drive, get either a Toyota or a Lexus. If she wants a little bit fancier, you're going to pay a little bit more for it. And with the snow you guys get up there in Minnesota, it's probably not a bad idea to get one of those all-wheel drive vehicles for driving in the snow so you don't get stuck anywhere. I mean, they do work better in the snow. There's no arguing it. Here down in Texas, hardly ever snows in southern Texas, so it's kind of a waste of money getting an all-wheel drive car. Trumpet Guy 723 says, Scotty, I got a 2011 Jeep Liberty, replaced the heater core 3 years ago. Last winter started to blow heat on the passenger side, not on the driver's side. Heater core issue or something else. If it's low on coolant and there's air in it, it can do that. But also realize that if that Jeep has dual climate control, there's an actuator for heat on the right side and there's an actuator for heat on the left side. And a lot of times the actuator for heat on the left side goes bad. So in that case, you got to get a guy like me who has a dealer level scan tool. And then we can activate the actuator on the right side, on the left side, and do testing. Because taking that dash apart is a very expensive endeavor. And you don't want to just guess. You want to have a guy who can get a bidirectional scan tool and can actuate both sides and see that, okay, the left side's not actuating, so we got to take that apart and fix it. You don't want to guess with stuff like that because it's very expensive. But with a bidirectional scan tool, you can actually analyze all that stuff and fix it correctly. Jose Durant says, Scotty, I got a Honda Odyssey 07. Has a grinding noise while in low gears, 45 to 60. The transmission got rebuilt and still have the sign. Please help. Thank you. Okay, you want a parade that is wheel bearings that are doing it. But from my experience, it's still in the transmission. Those horrible automatic transmissions. I had some of my customers get free ones from Honda because they had kind of a secret recall on that. Guys say they rebuild those things. A lot of times they don't fix them right. In order to rebuild those, they were designed wrong. You would have to change every stinking bearing inside the transmission. And when guys rebuild them, they usually don't do that because it costs too much money for the parts. I would kind of figure the guy did a crappy job. Take it to another transmission shop and see what they say. Most give free estimates. And if they say it's inside and that's where the problem's coming from, take it back to the guys that rebuild it and say you did a crappy job. Either give me my money back or fix it right, because I see that all the time. I was reading the other day something like 33%. 1 out of 3 transmission rebuilds done in the United States these days are done incorrectly the first time. So a lot of times you're better getting a factory rebuilt than having a guy at a shop rebuilding it.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.